Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're returning. Today's video was supposed to be a gardening video, but after receiving several injuries on the weekend, cleaning up the backyard, and we had some beautiful weather. We'd had some great weather for a couple of weeks, so we made the most of that and we cleaned up the backyard. Got I think 4 or 6 bags of garden waste, moved everything around, repotted things, got new soil, even actually had a chance to get to the garden centre and pick a few pots up. Got out the new garden furniture, got out the garden furniture. I ordered a new gazebo, started to get everything ready, planning for this week to do some planting, some potting, and as you can see, it's been snowing. Well, this day it was really quite cold and snowy, so I thought there's no way I'm going to go outside and work in the cold, because it was cold. My fingertips were cold. It wasn't below zero, but from being above 30 to this was quite a change. So I decided to have a change of plans. Hopefully next week, once the gazebo comes, we can redo the backyard and the patio. In the meantime, we're going back inside for something special. So, too cold to garden, time for a bathroom makeover. Of course, doesn't everyone do that when it's too cold to garden? So this is the downstairs powder room. That's a new sign. I picked that up from, I think, Winners Home Sense. This bathroom has not changed very much since we moved in. It was freshly painted. It had just been redone when we moved in, so it was freshly painted. I put up some of my needle points, flower prints, pictures, and the birds. The theme was kind of needle points. I'd moved a few, found them and tried to add them, and it was a bit of a mishmash of everything. It was never really done properly. So I have lots of wallpaper. So it was a choice between this black and white's like a hand-drawn, I call it contemporary toile, or this yellow and silver chinoiserie, which is really beautiful. So it's just wanted to do this one wall, just to give it a bit of impact as you walked in. Like I said, I just wanted a quick makeover. I needed something for the windows, I needed skirting boards, I needed a shelf, I just needed a refresh, and I wanted it to look better. This door it's crap. And you can see, I think it had a mirror or something on the back of it, so it was damaged, and even if I painted over it, you could still see it, so I had to come up with something for that. So again, like I said, it was more of a refresh, but wow, what a difference at the end of it. So first things first, I did get the paint out. I painted any pieces of wood that we'd be seeing. There was a piece of wood that went from the shower to the wall that had never been painted, so I painted that first. I painted the woodwork, the door and the trim. I also pre-pasted the wall that I was going to be decorating. Now, the wallpaper that I had was a pattern match, so it wasn't pre-pasted. So with paste on the wall, which is classed as size, I think it's better adhesion. And then of course I measure the wall, cut my first piece to size, paste it, and then fold it back onto itself. This is called bucking, and it gives the paste time to activate. So you're leaving this for about 10 minutes. While I'm waiting, don't forget to remember which is the top and the bottom. You don't want to make that mistake when you're pattern matching, especially in a small space. I'm using my dining room table. I'm just wiping off the excess paste that comes off when you're pasting the wallpaper, because you want to make sure that you get all of the ends and the corners, because those are the first things to dry out when you're putting up your wallpaper. You can see on the wall I've drawn an exact straight line, and that's always a good idea because you need somewhere as a reference point to make sure that your paper's going up straight. Especially in these old houses, you can't guarantee the wall straight. So worst thing is, first piece of paper, if it's not straight, as it goes on it gets more pronounced. So I've got the first piece up, it's lined up, the second piece goes up, pattern matching, start from the top and working all the bubbles all the way out. You can see there's just a little piece left over, and unfortunately I have to use a full roll. As I said, it's pattern matching. So what I do, I pre-paste the wall, I measure the amount of paper that I need. And I'm going to show you this little trick. This is something my dad taught me many years ago. Crease the wallpaper at the bottom where you need to make the cut. Use a very sharp knife. Slide the knife in and then cut. It gives you a perfect line every time. There's never any problem with it. Thanks, Dad. I always use that little trick when I'm wallpapering. So this is the last piece that's going on the wall. We're pattern matching from the left hand side. So this is the pattern piece. That's where it's going to join. So we want to make sure that we have that piece to match and then enough to fill the wall with a little bit over. So as we could see, this was just about a little bit bigger than the piece that I needed. So if I use that as a reference point, draw a line all the way down the paper and then cut it with in a straight line, or as straight as you possibly can, that will be perfect to fit on the wall. And then I'll just go over with an X-Acto knife and cut it off in the corner once the paper's on the wall. So what I'm doing is I'm using this little mat as my reference point, and I'm just going all the way down and marking and then joining the marks with a ruler, and then I'm going to cut that, and that's going up on the wall. So the wallpaper's done. Time for the skirting board. This is skirting board that we've had at the house that is going to be used, well, throughout in the kitchen and the downstairs bathroom. So it was, I've just given it 2 coats of the white paint, the same trim paint that's been used everywhere else in the house. And then that's going to be measured and put in the bathroom. So I had started painting on day 1 and then it started to rain. So day 2, when the sun was shining, is when I finished the second coat of white paint. So this is the mirror from the bathroom. This is one that I've had for quite a while. It's quite an ornate mirror, and I had previously silver leafed it. So I wanted to give it a bit of an update. So I decided to cover it in black acrylic paint. I wanted to see, I was going to give it a couple of different tries. I was originally going to wax it, antique wax it, but then it was more brown than black, and I did want to add some black to it. So what I decided to do was go over the whole outer piece in just this black acrylic paint and see how that looked. And then I went back and rubbed off the high points with just a damp cloth. And it gave it a little bit it's contemporary but antiqued as well. You'll see. So you can see here, I've just painted the outside in the black. And now what I'm going, this is like a baby wipe. Actually, it's a makeup wipe. I'm just going over the high points and just gently rubbing it off. I'm doing this on all the corners, and I also anywhere that paint's gone that you don't want it to be, you just rub it a little bit harder, and it literally just rubs it off. Because this is acrylic paint, you can use any paint that you want. I didn't have any black chalk paint, and the only other paint that I had was a gloss, and I wanted to try it in a matte finish, and I figure if I like the matte finish, I'm good. If I'd rather have a shiny finish, I'll just go over it with my glossy Mod Podge. So that's all I've done in here. I've just gone over it all with a damp face cloth or a baby wipe, and you can see you can rub off as much or as little as you want. So here we are, I've finished the black paint. I've also rubbed off all the paint to reveal the silver that I want, and I've decided that I would rather have a glossy finish, especially in a bathroom. It's going to get wiped down quite often, you know, splashes from the sink and toothpaste, so I've decided to go over it with the Mod Podge, which is, like I said, it's a glossy finish, and this one is waterproof. So it's an extra layer of protection as well as giving me the finish that I'm looking for. So the bathroom's moving along really well, and I realised there's a few things that I would like to add, one of them being a chandelier. So I go thrifting, and lo and behold, $7.99, I find this fabulous little chandelier. It is small, it's compact, it's got some great features on it, it's got some glass, it's got the hanging crystals. It is the wrong colour, but I'm going to spray it, so I take everything off and spray that. But I am also going to I'm not hardwiring it into the bathroom, but I'm going to add a cord and a plug so that I can use it in the bathroom. While I was out, I found this amazing box. This is Winston Churchill. My husband is a bit of a fan of Winston Churchill, got a lot of his books, and so I picked that up. That was $1.99, and I also picked up these three, there's 2 frames in this box, and then there's another one to continue my William Morris wall. So I'm going to be looking for frames that are different sizes and shapes now, sort of to fit in my existing wall. I also found this sort of architectural piece which is really, really cool, and I have a great idea for this, and this was $6.99, so I'm very pleased with that. So I'm going to move ahead with everything that I've got, and hopefully we'll see at the end what I've done with everything. I wanted to show you these little picture hanging kits that I've been picking up. I've been finding them at our local restore. They have the most amazing little hooks in there. These little rose ones are perfect to use if you see the hanger. You know, not all the pictures have wires or clips in the back, so I've used them on the walls when you can see the hanger, and it looks so much nicer than a bit of string or a hook. So back to the chandelier now. I have painted it silver. I've washed all of the little crystals and the little glass pieces, and I'm just putting it all back together with some extra crystals that I have as part of my collection. And you can see how beautiful they shine when they've been washed. I'm adding them wherever I can, and then I'm adding a few extra just to give it that extra little bit of glitz. And it's really worth the time to take all these crystals off and clean them properly with soap and water, because they do really glitter beautifully when the sunlight hits them. And hopefully when this is finished completely and I have a little plug on it, you'll see how nice it shines in the bathroom. This is the antiquing wax that I've been using recently, and this is an existing picture frame that I've had. I did have 2 of these. These actually came from the house on Park Road, so if those of you who've been with me for a while might have seen these before. I think I used one of them in one of the bedroom makeovers when we were selling the house. It was gold at that point. I've since sprayed, one of them broke in the move, and this one I just sprayed the same silver that I've used in the bathroom, and again I'm going over it. This one I wanted to be more subtle, so I'm not going over it with the black, I'm going over it with this lovely brown antiquing wax, and I'm doing pretty well the same process. Honestly, it looks like I'm smearing something else onto this picture frame. It does not look like wax, it looks like mud. I don't know what you were thinking, but that's what it looks like. It looks like mud's been spread on this picture frame. So all I'm doing is I'm putting this on liberally all over, and then I'm going to take a soft cloth and again rub back and take off the excess. Well, here we are, the makeover, and you'll see immediately as soon as the door opens, it is so much better. That wallpaper is divine. I love it. I would call it modern contemporary toile. It's almost like a hand-drawn forest. I think it's just so pretty. And it's just so impactful when you open the door. And it doesn't even need to be in all the bathroom. It's just on this one wall. The frame again looks the same theme with the silver, and of course one of the masters, the great masters, looking at you while you go to the bathroom. This was the curtain piece that I picked up from Value Village last week, and there is a piece of that privacy screen that I put on the window, and that's just to add a little bit of privacy. You can't see through the window, it's quite high, so there's no real need for privacy, but I just put it on there. And this is that chandelier. It looks so pretty. Now the light shines through that window in the morning and it reflects on the crystals, and it's just gorgeous first thing in the morning. This wall was I put all of the butterflies, obviously, as you can see. These were in the kitchen initially, and there's those little clips that I've added in, and you can see now what I mean. There's no ugly nail head, or those little clips just look so pretty. The door was a mess, so I took the piece of wallpaper that was left from the little piece that I cut and just pasted it to the door. It completely covered the mess. I guess they had a mirror on the back, so I was really happy with how that turned out. There's the mirror with the silver highlights again, just lovely. I think it's added to the bathroom, and again it's kept that theme, the black and the silver. Now moving on to this shelf, I picked this up several weeks ago at a thrift haul, and I think it was $5, and I knew I wanted to keep it black, and I knew I just loved the shape, almost Art Deco. This little hook for the towels, the hand towels, I think that was a couple of dollars. I picked that up in the week. I just painted it black. This little rug was from Home Sense, and I think it was $24.99. So again, it all just seemed to come together, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out. So I got my forest in the bathroom, but what about those florals? Well, those florals that I've been collecting over time, I didn't want to put them into storage, so I have that hallway upstairs that is not quite finished, but I thought I would really like to have a collection of those florals opposite my William Morris wall. Now, is it too many florals? Well, I don't think so, but you tell me afterwards. So this is kind of what I was thinking, something quite symmetrical on the wall, so it was more impactful when you come up the stairs. So I laid everything out along with a couple of little pictures that I was going to be adding to my William Morris wall, and hopefully, well, you tell me what you think once it's finished, but I'm sick of taking stuff down when I do a room and then putting it into storage and not using it. This way I'm taking stuff down. I use the stuff, the butterflies from the kitchen in the bathroom, and now I've used these beautiful florals in the upstairs hallway, and I think it's lovely. Hopefully you agree, but I do. It's really nice to have that wall full. Now, it's not, like I said, it's still, the hallway's still a work in progress. It still has to be work done on it, and especially in the kitchen laundry room, but for the time being it's a pretty space again, and it doesn't quite feel as though it's as unfinished as it actually is. It is lovely to have this artwork up, and somebody's taken so much time and energy to make these beautiful floral displays, and it seems a shame to keep them, you know, in a place where nobody's going to see them. So I'm happy to have them out again on display, and it's certainly made my hallway look so much better. And these are the extra William Morris prints that I had. So this little red one I thought lent itself to the nice red frame, and you can see I've just dotted them in between the existing wall art, and I'm going to be picking up extra frames and filling them in as I go. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.